Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 8 of our F1 Manager 24 My Team Career Mode. Yes, we're back this weekend at the Jewel in the Formula 1 crown. It is time for the Monaco Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live on Monday from Imola, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. It was a pretty good weekend for us and the team because Yuki Tsunoda from the back of the field managed to get our first point of the year on the board. They're really happy with the result he had. Yes, we were slightly lucky at the end of the race that, of course, Max Verstappen ran into reliability issues that bumped us up into P10, but a point is a point at the end of the day in the F1 world. And yeah, we have moved ourselves back up then into 7th place in the Constructors' Championship. Our season objective is still 6th, so we've got to try and outscore VCAR by a few points over the next few rounds there. And as you can see, Yuki is very happy with how things are going at the moment. Liam Lawson's still not particularly happy. He's apparently not happy with me of most of all at the moment. So yeah, we've really got to try and work on this over the next few rounds of the season as well then. So yeah, hopefully, you know, fingers crossed, we're going to get Liam Lawson up into a position where he is a bit happier. Now, we haven't got much money still within the team, so we're in desperate need of some more funds in the coming race weekends, but we should hopefully so we need to try and get some we've already got obviously side pods and a couple of other bits and pieces coming ready for the weekend as well there. So side pods and suspension manufacturing is hopefully going to be sorted. There is apparently F3 driver talent. Ollie Goethe apparently has a lot of potential. So apparently we should be trying to make a move for him. Now obviously he's a Prima driver right now. But he is open to negotiations. Obviously, he's a Red Bull Junior as well. And of course, obviously, we're just poaching Red Bull drivers early on in this game. So we're going to try and propose him a contract then. Apparently, he wants a fair old chunk of change. There we go. If we go... he wants a lot of money. Ollie Goethe? Hang on a minute. How much money does he think he's worth? We give him... no, this is for the second car. Oh, he wants to be an affiliate. Okay. It's a little bit odd. I mean, that's very peculiar. I guess we'll try and bring him back down a little bit money-wise. If we go 400k and then offer him like 30k, 50k signing on bonus, we'll go 40k signing on bonus. I don't really want him in for 3 seasons, but I mean, if it gets him in, then I suppose we'll be happy. So we'll offer him over that contract. He'll probably come back to us after the Monaco Grand Prix weekend. How is he doing in Formula 3 right now? That's something we haven't kept up with in recent rounds. So Formula 2, Prima's still leading the way. Behrman ahead of Bortolesso, Hadjar, and Andrea Kimi Antonelli. So you can see Behrman is absolutely dominating the F2 Championship. Probably like we would have expected him to, IRL. But yeah, that really hasn't happened this year for Ollie there. And in terms of F3 then, so Goethe is P3 overall now, ahead of his teammate Dino Beganovic. It is still Kasper Sutka leading the way ahead of Tim Tramnitz as well. So yeah, Goethe's not doing a bad job so far in Formula 3. Just MP Motorsport appeared to be a little bit OP early on this season. Luke Browning, though, he's had an absolute disaster campaign so far. No points for him. And there you can see Sophia Flourish as well down in P27. But yeah, as we return then to Monaco this weekend, obviously we just need to make sure we get those new manufacturing parts completed. We've also got a contract accepted by Dennis Hauger then. So signing on some juniors. He's going to be... Hey? Did I accidentally say that he should be a Formula 1 driver for us? I think I might have accidentally said he was going to be a driver, and I don't want that. So we'll confirm that one, and we'll respond to that a bit later on. I must have messed that up last time round, and no one yelled at me. That was a little bit of a mistake then. So we're probably going to upset Dennis Hauger in the near future. Now, we need to try and manufacture some of these new... chassis component, suspension components as well there. So luckily we're going to have a few spares this weekend, but we're going to take another 3 weeks to try and get some of those prepared and ready to go. So let's just make sure we've got all of the car parts sorted as well as side pods. There we go. So yeah, we've got the side pods now on the car. I don't think we've got any of... We haven't got a second version of the side pod yet, have we? Have we? Design, manufacturer... yeah, I think we have only got the one slide pod type so far, and we have got... okay, so we can... Apparently we've got... Oh, no, we've got underfloors as well, but we can't change those yet because they're not high risk. Sorry, they're not completely failing on us, so a little bit peculiar. In terms of car performance, though, it seems like we're pretty middle of the road at the moment. We've got good engine cooling, but everything else is still quite mediocre. And you can see there, yeah, even obviously the second car ever so slightly worse. So, yeah, we've kind of obviously, once we've got a little bit more money, I mean, we're down to $11,000 right now. We have not got much left. We kind of just need to obviously start spending more time on building up some bigger upgrades on the car as well. But I think we're ready then. It's time for the Monaco Grand Prix.
Welcome along to one of the biggest weekends in motorsports, here in Monaco. Cars have been racing through Monaco's streets since 1929, and this weekend is no exception, as we get to watch the new generation of world-class drivers take over Monte Carlo.
At the top of the constructors' standings right now, it's McLaren. And as the final round begins, what a season it's been.
So stay with us, ladies and gentlemen. The weekend starts here.
Well, I'm trying to work out then, because Karun Chandok is still adamant that every weekend is the season finale. Would Monaco actually be worthwhile as the championship decider? I mean, it would all be sorted on Saturday, wouldn't it? But I guess it would potentially create some drama in the race. I don't really know. Someone will have to tell me down in the comments below. I mean, there's probably not that many less overtakes than there was at the older version of Abu Dhabi as well there. But yeah, could that be a good one? I don't really know. So obviously around this circuit, though, I'm kind of hoping that this actually might be a good race weekend for us. Obviously, we scored points at Imola, which was like the first quite high downforce circuit on the calendar. So I'm kind of hoping that maybe today can be the same as well. There obviously we need most cornering performances we possibly can. We need a fair bit of braking stability and everything else as well there. And obviously we're going to have to do some slightly longer runs. We'll try 20 laps with Yuki, and we'll bump it up to 18 for Liam as well there. But yeah, we should obviously be able to get kind of 2 full sim runs through as we go into free practice. Of course, you know, we all know it's going to be about qualifying today. It's probably going to be a slightly shorter video because, like we said, you know, Monaco... Oh, I need to actually send both drivers out, don't I? Monaco, you know, it's never the most dramatic race in the world. In terms of on-track action, it can always be a little bit interesting. Do we not even get to watch the cars heading out the pit lane? Yes, we do. So that's okay then. A couple of minutes wasted, though, right at the start of the session. So Hulkenberg there was the first one out onto the circuit. Behrman once again in the Ferrari. Pato Award once again in the McLaren with Hadjar in the Red Bull. I don't think Sergio Perez has genuinely done a Q1 session, sorry, an FP1 session this year. Fred Vesti as well, and I believe that is it for your junior drivers there, apart from Jack Crawford down at Aston Martin. So, I mean, yeah, obviously if we sign Ollie Goethe as a junior, then I'll be very tempted, obviously, just to start lobbing him in, probably for Yuki for a lot of weekends. You know, he's definitely someone that, you know, 2-3 seasons down the line, especially obviously if one of our drivers gets poached, he could really sort of be, you know, he's got a lot of potential inside this game. So I'm excited to see how he could get on in the future as well there. But yeah, this weekend though, you know, like we said, we're basically just going to be entirely focusing the car on its qualifying pace. So yeah, I'll have to wait and see as to how we get on. Obviously, we did make Q2 with both drivers last weekend, didn't we? But I think, you know, unless someone stacks it, unless we end up with like a session like we did in Jeddah, it's going to be very, very difficult to try and get either car into the top 10. But hopefully, yeah, I mean, this is a driver's track at the end of the day, so hopefully we're going to be able to capitalise there as well. As both drivers there not happy with the car for Liam Lawson early on. I should probably actually be watching them go around. We tend to do that a bit more in qualifying. Wow, okay, so we haven't even got enough cornering ability on him, so that's quite impressive. Okay, we needed to lower that one then, apparently. If we go like that... I mean, how have we got so much oversteer, man? This is really, really difficult to try and find a balance for around Monaco. I mean, we've got no straight line speed, as you would expect. I guess we'll go like that and kind of see how he feels. I mean, we're getting more stuff where it needs to be. Actually, we should have taken slightly less downforce on, as Yuki as well has got all the information he needs. So we're going to bring him in as well there. Slightly longer run than we probably needed with Sonoda. And again, yeah, you can see neither driver particularly happy with where the car is angled at the moment. So we'll go full rear wing on that car. Apparently, yeah, sorry, we've got too much braking stability still, which I always find a little bit peculiar. So we'll go like that, and we'll go toe out a bit. There we go. That should bring Yuki into somewhere. He's a little bit happier as well then with the car. You know, it is so much about fine-tuning around this circuit. So as we send them back out for another run then, hopefully they're going to be able to provide a little bit better feedback this time round. And hopefully, yeah, we'll be bringing the car in the right direction. Obviously, we know margins are super, super narrow around this circuit as well. You know, I've got to say, obviously, for Monaco, it's probably the track that requires the most detail inside this game. It does look very, very cool as well. As we'll actually ride with Liam Lawson. We'll go with a helmet cam lap, just so you kind of get an idea as to what the drivers are seeing as well around this venue, because it all comes at you so thick and fast. And, you know, there really is no other experience like it in the F1 world there is. I mean, it's bumpy, it's horrible, it's tight, it's narrow, it's unforgiving. Everything that makes a Formula 1 circuit difficult has been dialed up to 11 around at the Monaco Grand Prix as well. And, you know, it is absolutely relentless. Plus, of course, it's such a short lap. 78 laps around here as well. And, I mean, that's not even a 100, you know, an actual 100% race distance. Monaco, yeah, is about 50 kilometers short, isn't it? So, yeah, it really is, you know, it's a unique venue. It's a really unique challenge still inside the F1 world. Sadly, obviously, you know, with Singapore, with Miami, with Las Vegas, with Jeddah, you know, you are, unfortunately, you know, the street circuit magic is slowly kind of being eroded around this place, but it is still the street circuit, isn't it? At the end of the day, is Liam Lawson then rounding his way through the final couple of corners. That is going to be a lap at the Monaco Grand Prix. And boy, oh boy, F1 Managers does a good job at depicting it as well. They're super cool, and I'm sure we're going to be doing a few more of those as the weekend goes on as well. 17th and 18th, though. Sorry, 18th and 19th now in the pace, though. So, I mean, we are on the hard tyres. So I reckon there's obviously a bit more time in the car. Once we go on to the softer compounds, what tyres has other people gone on then? I mean, we got some soft runners. We got other hard runners as well, though. So, yeah, it is going to be a little bit difficult. I think if we get the chance to go back out for a glory run right at the end, then I might just fire them both out on a set of softs. But, I mean, yeah, it's going to be a one-stop Grand Prix this weekend, isn't it? As well. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. And, you know, always as well, it's just about survival. If you guys have been watching my Ferrari career mode that we stream live, Round 2 Jeddah will be going live tomorrow night. It was chaotic, and Charles Leclerc is just useless, is all I'm going to say to spoil that one. You can go back, actually, and watch the full live stream if you want to already here on the channel as well then. But, yeah, both drivers getting to where they're happy. Oh, Lawson really happy then, so optimal with him. So we will just get that fine-tuned. And there we go then. Let's have a look. Look at that. Optimal, optimal, and great. So is there anything we can do just to try and give him a tiny bit more rotation? Maybe if we could try and just... I don't really want to tweak too many things to try and, like, ruin the numbers or anything like that. But always, of course, you know, if there's an opportunity to try and get a maxed out score, then I'm always going to try and take it. If we go like that and then go like that, maybe that'll be even better. I mean, we're just basically trying to fine-tune a couple of very narrow parameters now, aren't we? Where will that go? Oh, that takes him that way, doesn't it? We'll go like that then. That's, I mean, pretty much bang on, isn't it? I think you might have slightly too little straight line speed now, but everything else is looking pretty good. And hopefully Yuki as well then is going to be able to provide us with that final little bit of feedback he needs, so we can try and fine-tune the setup as well. Okay. And Yuki happy with the car then. Not quite as happy as Liam Lawson, but happy nonetheless then. So we'll get him all tweaked up. You can see actually his traction is not where he's happy still, so we need to be a bit more careful with that. But yeah, maxed out wing then we know is going to be the way to go. He actually likes a car with a bit less oversteer than we've seen for Liam Lawson so far this weekend. So if we go like that then, hopefully Yuki's going to be happy. And I think I will see you guys out in qualifying.
There's tension in the air today, so it must be time for qualifying.
Qualifying means everything around Monaco. with little chance of overtaking in the race. Getting as far up the grid as possible and keeping the car intact is every driver's goal on this unforgiving circuit.
Charles Leclerc has been a talking point for many of late. Karun, how do you think he's doing so far?
They had an excellent performance in practice, setting a solid lap time. They must be feeling confident. But confidence doesn't necessarily mean success in Formula One.
Well, we're certainly ready in the commentary box. The drivers are getting ready down in the pit lane, and it's time for qualifying.
Well, here we are then, qualifying day from the Monaco Grand Prix. Like we said, this is a difficult track there. And look at that, for the first time ever, Liam Lawson is at 100% car setup confidence as well. We have got it perfect with the second car. Haven't quite got it perfect, though, with the number one car there, as Yuki still would rather have just a little bit less cornering ability for whatever reason around Monaco as well there. How do we give him a little bit more oversteer, though, to try and counteract that? I think if we go like that, and then, I mean, we could go like that. I mean, then he's got too much straight line speed, so it's all a little bit peculiar at the moment. I don't quite know. I mean, we basically need to run like that, don't we? And then maybe if we go like that. We're basically just trying to really fine-tune this, and I don't think we're going to be able to there. So everything else, though, is looking pretty good on Yuki's car. Of course, yeah, Q1, we want to try and make sure that we both get both drivers straight into Q2. So yeah, let's wait and see what we can do then here on the Monaco streets. It is a difficult one. Like I said, you really have got no idea as to how the car's going to fare around this place. And of course, trying to make sure that you get out without too much traffic as well is going to be really critical here. So I think we're going to send out both drivers pretty much immediately. You know, even if we can just get a good time on the board first lap, then that'll be really useful. I don't know whether it simulates, like, the grip ramp up. No, so it doesn't really simulate, you know, the grip ramp up that you see in real life. You know, really, this should be pretty much from the bottom right to the top as you go through qualifying. But clearly inside F1 Manager, you view these things ever so slightly differently. But yeah, I'll be honest. I think Lawson might actually be one to watch this weekend. You know, we've got that 100% setup in the car. He thinks we have optimized it absolutely perfectly for his driving. And on this first lap, then immediately, we might only have to deal with the one car of Fernando Alonso as well. Then as 18.6, 18.9, Lawson immediately dropping back ever so slightly. So it might be a case of just spreading them out a little bit more if we have to go out for another run. So yeah, it's going to be really tricky here. As Yuki Tsunoda would say, he definitely should still be the quicker driver of the two. But how much quicker will he be around a track like Monaco then? As we come towards the end of Sector 2, it'd be nice to see sort of Liam trading those splits with him. 32.8 and 33.5. Also then, you think we're going to have to try and build up a bit more confidence with him. So he might have to do a couple of extra runs on this set of tyres. It's down in towards the final couple of corners we're going to go. Not sure how, you know, Yuki Tsunoda making his way up towards the line. 111.7, sorry, I should say. Lawson, a 113.2. Are you having a giggle? His driver confidence is high. How is he that much slower? That's rather peculiar then for a first run. Yuki might be straight through, but Lawson certainly is not. I only assume then that Liam Lawson made a bit of a mistake on that first lap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send it back out on the same set of tyres to go for another one here. He might have to deal with the lap traffic of Max Verstappen. But I kind of just, you know, he needs to do some laps to build up some confidence here in the car. What is that split one going to be? 18.9 again. So he's just not as quick as Yuki, it would appear at the moment. I mean, he's 1.3 seconds off anybody else. Tsunoda has basically matched Lewis Hamilton early on as well. They're both slower than Rotoma Miata as Hulkenberg. That's a pretty good lap time by him. I mean, Verstappen's 1.1 off of the pace as well. So it's all a little bit peculiar at this point of the session. Well, I mean, we just want to see Lawson get, you know, sort of around Ocon and Bottas if possible. As what's his split 2 time going to be? 33.3. How is he not improving right now? How is Liam Lawson struggling this much in the car? I mean, I've got him on full overtake, everything like that, I assume? Yeah, he's on full push mode and everything. So not too sure what we make of that one then. As through the final corner, he's going to go again. Is he going to be able to improve? At least tries to get a bit closer to the top times. I think he has. Yeah, there we go. But he's still nearly a second off the pace of anybody else. Well, first and foremost, then, we want to try and make sure that we get Yuki Tsunoda into Q2. George Russell is the one right on the bubble right now as we get ready to start our final lap in anger. We've got a Williams just in front of us, which I'm hoping is going to move out of the way quite quickly. And Liam Lawson as well, then, just a little bit further behind. He's hopefully going to have some free track space as well, then. So it is really, really critical here that Lawson tries to just dig deep. He's willing to take risk in the car. His confidence is high. His setup is perfect. I don't really know why he's struggling so much to extract lap time out of the car here. But both drivers back out on a fresh set of tyres. Yuki, pretty good time. Liam, there we go. 2/10 up in Sector 1. So that's a really good way to kickstart this lap then once more there. As hopefully we're not going to see... I can't see any traffic at the moment, but hopefully that Haas car is going to get out of the way as we make our way down through the tunnel. Yeah, Yuki has got free track space to the end of the lap, as there we go. Haas will move. You can see Russell improves there, goes up into P13, so he's not particularly safe still at the end of qualifying there. Now we've got an Alpine in the way, who is kind of just umming and ahhing about where they're going to move. Lawson, Sector 2, split 33-3 again. So Liam Lawson, he just does not have the pace here in qualifying right now. As Yuki, yeah, not going much quicker though. So we can only hope that Yuki's going to be safe come the end of the session there. Through the final corner, will we even get Lawson up to at least the likes of like Logan Sargent or something like that pace-wise? Up over the line, 13.4, P21 on the grid for Liam Lawson. Yeah, I think that is his weekend pretty much ruined. I mean, I know he's had some rough qualifying sessions so far this year, but with so many drivers performing to the best of their abilities, even Tsunoda making it through pretty comfortably on his first run there, to not even be able to get within a second of him is really, really disappointing there. A weekend to forget, I feel, for Liam Lawson is coming up once more. But yeah, you can see, I mean, it was a pretty even split, though. Both Alpines, both Saubers, Sargent and Lawson then out in Q1. Yuki needs to find another 0.8 of a second, so I'm not optimistic that we'll see Q3. But we've got a few cars then trying to make sure they get out nice and early as we head into Q2, so what I've done this time is put Yuki Tsunoda on one of those sets of tyres that he used in his Q1 run as well there. Luckily, it looks like we're going to have no traffic on this lap, so immediately we might be able to try and get a good benchmark on the board there as he makes his way out of Turn 1, all the way up the steep climb in towards Turn 2. It is a, you know, it's a fantastic circuit when you think of the elevation as well. You know, this place, it's a special track at the end of the day. I know a lot of fans don't like it. I know, you know, especially newer fans as well. But there is still a certain magic of Monaco at the end of the day. And boy, oh boy, does it often deliver still on Saturday. You know, Saturday, I would argue here, is still one of the most exciting sessions of the entire year in Formula 1. It's 18-9 Sector 1 for Yuki. Not particularly fantastic. So he's definitely just lacking a little bit of pace here. I don't know whether we're meant to see any rain or anything like that as the session goes on, though. It is meant to stay completely dry, so we shouldn't have to deal with anything like that here in qualifying. I think it is meant to be dry all weekend, to be completely honest. But yeah, we want to be looking down towards the 1 minute 10s. I don't think this first lap is going to be that. 33.0 Sector 2. In fact, yeah, Yuki's a long way off any pace he's set so far this weekend. 12.0 for K-Mag. We go half a second slower on a 12.4 there. A Stroll immediately down on a 10.3. Well, we have got 3 sets of soft compound tyre to burn through here in Q2, so I think that's going to be exactly what we're going to do. I'm tempted. You know, I might go really long with Liam into the race, or I'm tempted to go really long with one of them and try to get the undercut with the other there and try to out-strategize everybody else by doing that. So it could literally be that we try and box Liam Lawson in on lap 1 and then try and get Yuki to park the bus, depending on what happens. I mean, it's Monaco. There's going to be chaos, isn't there? Irrespective of what we do. But Yuki then on another lap of anger. 18.5 Sector 1. I mean, there's no cars around him, so not too sure what he's moaning about. That's a pretty good first split then here, as hopefully... I think that was a Red Bull just... No, it's Aston Martin just getting out of the way. You know, we want to be trying to go, you know, similar to the pace of Hulkenberg here. Hulkenberg, Albon, Miata. Those are kind of the cars we're aiming for. It's probably going to be that Ricciardo's got a bit of pace over all of us still. It's split to 32.5. So here we go. The lap time gearing up with Yuki at the moment. Building up this confidence in the car. He's got to be a good 7-8 tenths up on his previous run. So this is looking really good, actually, as he makes his way through Anthony Nogue's final corner then of the lap. As he powers down up towards the start-finish line. What is this lap going to be from Yuki Tsunoda? An 11. A mid-11 there. Puts him up inside that top 10. You can see they're less than a tenth off Lewis Hamilton. Another Herculean one-lap effort by Yuki so far. Well, we have tried to send Yuki out there right at the end of the session here to go for his final lap. We have left it really, really close up towards the line. 2 seconds left on the clock as Yuki Tsunoda starts his final run here. We'd actually come out originally in a bit of traffic, so what I opted to do was let him do 2 out laps to try and slowly build up some temperature in the tyre. Is it going to be beneficial, though? Are we going to see this work for us here as we try to come to the end of split 1? 18.4. He is getting quicker and quicker right now. He needs 3 tenths, though, if he wants to try and get ahead of Daniel Ricciardo. I mean, we've got no soft compound tyres for Q3, even if he does make it through. Hamilton, I think, is still out there at the moment, but he might be out in Q2 here in Monaco then. As down through the tunnel will go. V-Carb there almost gets in the way. Luckily, I think we'll just about be able to navigate them, but even if, yeah, we can just find another tenth of a second, this could be really beneficial here as we get towards the end of qualifying. What is the split going to be through Sector 2? So you can just see our 32.70 slightly down at the moment. It can all still be won or lost, though, through the final sector of the lap here. Yuki Tsunoda, he has given it his all this weekend so far. Oh, no, he's heading in. I forgot to cancel the call-in. Damn it, man. I don't think he would have improved anyway, to be fair. I think he was a good couple of tenths down. That's a really stupid way to end qualifying, though, especially as I hyped it up. We line up P13 and P21 on the grid here. That is frustrating, I will admit.
The streets of Monte Carlo are ready as the drivers now prepare for 78 laps around this historic track.
Monaco can hand out unpredictable results, just like in 1982, when 4 race leaders hit trouble. Riccardo Patrese eventually claimed the win after managing to restart his stalled car by himself with a downhill bump start.
Monaco is famous for its many narrow twists and corners. From the brake-heavy Le Rascasse to the treacherous Sand of Ott, there are no proper straights to speak of, and it's extremely hard to overtake here. It sounds like simple advice, but getting up as high on that starting grid as possible is the best plan of attack. Tension continues to build here as race day begins.
Well, here we are then on the grid, ready for the Monaco Grand Prix. It is going to be a long old afternoon ahead of us. Ultimately, I don't think I'm expecting too much carnage or chaos. But I think with Yuki, though, we're going to have to try and go aggressive early on. Try and take those soft compound tyres early and just absolutely push like crazy on him. See if we can make up a couple of places on lap 1 and then kind of go from there. Liam Lawson, I'm happy to do the exact opposite with, to be honest. So yeah, we will try and go like that. We will go full aggression. In fact, what I'm even going to do, take a load of fuel out of the car. We can afford to run like 5-6 laps under. If we can just get the, if we can get a couple of places at the start, that is going to be really, really critical there. So again, just tell the team that we do want strat A. That's the plan we're going with here. Ready for the start of this one. But I think we're ready then here for the Monaco Grand Prix. I think, unfortunately, we're probably not going to see much of Liam Lawson today. It is just going to be about trying to get Yuki into that top 10 as soon as we can. Or if not, just bringing both cars home as best as possible then. Let's do this thing. It is finally time for the duel in the Formula 1 crown.
Well, it's great to have you with us, folks, as we settle in for the weekend's Grand Prix action. And it's always an entertaining race when Yuki Tsunoda is involved.
This marks their 50th start in Formula 1. Can they celebrate that milestone with a strong finish?
So let's see what today has in store, shall we? We're here and the streets are abuzz at the Monaco Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
Well, I'm immediately going to pause the race because we are also going to tell Yuki to go on high aggression off the start of this one. Did not know it was his 50th Grand Prix though. That's pretty special. So hopefully, yeah, he can have a good start there as immediately trying to make up one spot down in towards that first corner. He'll immediately get past Nico Hülkenberg then through turn 1 there as everybody tries to weave their way through. Norris takes the pole ahead of his former teammate in Carlos Sainz though. So yeah, really, really good qualifying session by him in the end. Charles Leclerc, he was fastest through Q1 and Q2. Unable to make anything happen with it though by the end of the session there. As already, I mean, everybody pretty much instantly is single file, aren't they? Around this venue as we navigate our way down through the hairpin. Just got to take it nice and easy. Nobody wants to be the one to take too many big risks at the start of this race as well. But yeah, Lawson trying to look around the outside. I believe that was a Logan Sargent down the hill. Not quite able to do there as well. I think he actually scuffed the wall on the inside of the exit as well there. But yeah, Ricciardo and Hamilton, they're probably going to be our big rivals this weekend. This has weirdly never been a track that Lewis Hamilton gets on particularly well with. For whatever reason, it seems, yeah, a lot of the cars he's been given in Formula 1 aren't really set up very well around these Monaco streets. Maybe Ferrari in 2025 can be a good year for him there. As you can already see, he's dropping away slightly. So what's happened to Lawson? He's been overtaken by Zhou Guanyu. Is that down at the chicane? So he's really, really struggling early on. And you can see Zhou Guanyu had an absolute stinker here. IRL immediately will go for the move. And yeah, makes it through and around the outside of the Kiwi there. So yeah, Lawson down into last place then of the Grand Prix early on as Lando Norris will lead at the end of lap 1. Hamilton just trying to keep sights on Daniel Ricciardo in front of him. But yeah, I think immediately then we can afford to bring the car back down. And we can afford to put it onto the medium aggression as well there. And well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Monaco. This is probably going to be what this race is all about throughout most of the afternoon. Looks like we got the pace over Albon behind us early. But I guess we could try to undercut Hamilton as well early on here if we were able to stay out of trouble and maybe build up a bit of a gap there. As Ricciardo up into 9th place then. So he's actually done really, really well early on in this GP. I mean, it's one of those horrible ones where I don't know how much time a pit stop will cost us there. As Ricciardo now losing the place to both Mercs. I assume, obviously, yeah, there's still no chance of rain or anything like that. So, is there any data on kind of how long a pit stop will take? Pre-race report. Time considerations, 20 seconds, it reckons, is the average pit lane time here. We've already got 4 seconds over Alex Albon then, so we're looking pretty good in that regard early on. I could be so tempted to try and undercut a lot of these guys early on in the race. You know, even if it... Oh, yeah, we go. Bottas has stacked it. Could that be a safety car very early on in the day? What's he done? Bottas just... Oh, slaps the wall. Keeps it going, but front wing damage. Very, very odd little mistake there. Reminiscent of Michael Schumacher's lap 1 incident in 1996. Yeah, Sauber, I mean, this was a terrible weekend for them, IRL. But they seem to be able to keep it going this time out. Yeah, so it's going to be really, really tricky here. I mean, battery management as well. You can afford to push on with that quite early, quite easily. So we'll go with a bit of overtake mode on both cars as well then. But like I said, you know, Monaco, it's a bit of an easier race than most of them so far in this game. Maybe we could try and get past Ricciardo here with an overtake early on in the race. Clearly, Merc have been able to get around the vehicle, so we'll try it with our driver as well. So we'll go full attack mode then out of the final corner. He's got no DRS to defend himself. But again, I'm just not convinced we're going to be able to get close enough, are we? Back down in towards someone as both Mercs actually fighting there. You can just see up in front, Hamilton trying to look for a move on Russell. Not able to make it happen, though. So we'll have to sit back in for now at this early stage of the GP. But, I mean, what have we got? We've got 10 seconds over Hülkenberg already. If we were to box, we'd still come out in traffic a little bit further back. So I think, yeah, for us, it's in our best interest right now just to kind of sit in and just, you know, keep trying to use Ricciardo to maybe build up a bit of a gap over those cars behind. Also, their battery completely empty. Like I said, yeah, he's back up to P21, of course, because Bottas has pit, so I guess that's good for him. But ultimately, yeah, our race, I mean, unfortunately, yeah, Ricciardo already is just starting to drop back from those cars in front. So unless we can get a move on the Australian, it is already looking a little bit difficult here. Let's take a look at the gap to the leader. What have we got? We'd come out ahead of Ocon then, just between him and Sargent. So, ideally, I'd like to be ahead of Gasly before we can really afford to box. I mean, we've taken a lot out of the tyres already. Can we try and go for something? Is it, can we try and do anything against Ricciardo early on if we try and go aggressive on those tyre sets or something, just to get back inside the range and then maybe be able to pull away a little bit more. Oh, there we go. We made it. Ricciardo, we've done the move. How did we overtake Ricciardo there? I wasn't even trying to go for it. Up the hill in towards turn 2 there. Muscles his way down the inside. There we go. Beautiful little move by Yuki Tsunoda early on in the race. And we are through then. And up into P11 of the GP. So if we were to box, we'd be ahead of Gasly. Okay. I mean, I want to try and undercut those Mercs. That's kind of what I'm looking at here. Is, kind of our strategy throughout the rest of the afternoon. I guess we've got to see now. I mean, Ricciardo just simply does not have the pace against us, I think, at this stage of the day. So we might be able to inch away from him and try and keep a bit closer to those two Merc cars. Right, we'd be ahead of Magnussen soon. I reckon it's almost time to box. And if we went aggressive on a set of mediums, I mean, they might not go to the end of the race. Could they? They reckon we could do 48 laps on mediums, so we need to box about lap 30. I think we'll go for hards. I think we'll set him up for next lap. Because, like I said, I just want to try and see if we can undercut those Mercs. Because as we know, the undercut you can get on this game is absolutely sensational as well there. And we're just starting to drop back a bit more behind those two cars. There we go. Lawson making a move on Zhou Guanyu, so staying out of trouble. Exactly the same overtake we did earlier on. And there we go, up into P9, P20, I think. He's ahead of both Kick Sauers now, isn't he? In the Grand Prix as well then, so happy with that. So we've got to try and get a 6-second undercut on Hamilton. Who, of course, is going to be on the mediums. So we might have a better chance at going long against him. Everybody inside the top group is opted for mediums or hard. So no one really wanted to risk it like Yuki has. Got to pray for a nice, clean, tidy stop. As well, there we go. Miata in. 2.6 is not bad going. We'll drive through the safety car on the exit there. So we're going to come out in a bit of free space as well. Which is absolutely fantastic news. So I guess now, next few laps then, are just going to be about trying to get the undercut on Lewis Hamilton there. And then if we can, just park the bus towards the end of the afternoon. So we haven't got much in the way of spare fuel. We are going to go full attack mode though and really try to monitor these last lap times as best as we can. So let's see what Yuki can do then here at this early stage of the day. I mean, he's one of the first cars into the pit lane. So hopefully these fresh tyres are going to be able to help him out a little bit. And, like I said, if we can then get the undercut on Lewis, then really from there, it is just like trying to park the bus later on in the afternoon. Watching out for that top speed, though. But it's not impossible for the AI to make overtakes around here, I think is the important thing still. At the end of the day, is Hamilton setting 1 minute 18s. What is his first flyer going to be by Yuki Tsunoda? Like we said, 6 seconds we need out of him. Yuki, obviously, yeah, pushing hard on those tyres early on, just to get him back up into temperature. But we will have to bring him into standard mode pretty quickly. Let's just see what this first lap time is going to be. And then we can kind of work out from there what we can do against that Merc. If we're quicker than him, then we'll try and push on. If we're not quicker than him, then I think we'll just obviously try and cement the position we're in. As Hamilton does a 17.9, so he's clearly getting just a little bit worried about that pace right now. Ricciardo did an 18.9. We're going to do a 16.9. Okay. Right, we have got to go for it. We have really got to try and go for it. At the moment, we can afford to push on that fuel. So we took a second out of Lewis that lap. Let's just keep monitoring this over the next few then. I mean, yeah, Lawson, he can basically just do whatever he likes today. We're not really interested in what he's doing. We're just trying to get the undercut with Yuki Tsunoda here. As Hamilton, next lap then, as he comes up towards the line, it's going to be 17.8. So he is acutely aware of what we're trying to do with Yuki Tsunoda at this stage of the afternoon. Don't quite know how far the AI are going to be able to go in terms of their strategy either. Yuki, 16.7. So another second out of him that lap as Oscar Piastri, one of the first cars into the pit lane. We're kind of hoping that Hamilton doesn't box for a few more laps. We need him to try and go to like lap 30. And then obviously hopefully we'll have the jump on him here that will make all the difference. Either that or he gets held up in a bit of traffic. As are we going to see either of those Mercs in? Hamilton opts to stay out again. What is the lap time going to be? 18.3 for George, 17.6 for Lewis. As Ricciardo then into the pit lane. we should easily be out ahead of him then. I guess we're hoping now that Alex Albon is going to peel into the pit lane quite soon. 69 for Yuki that time around. So he's definitely still going quicker. But we have just got to be a little bit careful with those tyres as well. As we'll try and make sure that we're in a position where we can jump Albon if he doesn't pit anytime soon. I mean, Russell as well. He's not that far ahead of the Merc. And if Lewis gets held up a little bit in traffic here, you never know what might be possible. What tyres is Albon on? He's on hard, so he's going to try and get those a little bit further in this Grand Prix. But could we try and make the move happen here? It's just starting to cook those tyres a little bit. The gap to Hamilton now has got to be about 22 seconds. But yeah, let's just bring those tyres back down then. We'll keep it on the standard revs. We'll just wait and see what we can do against Alex Albon here. I believe he's still set to high aggression overtake. So hopefully out at turn 1 we're going to be able to make the move happen anyway. Let's try and get the deploy up the hill. Are we going to be able to have a look to the inside? Go for it. Yes, there we go. Beautiful. As Rotoma Miata there makes a little bit of a mistake down at turn 16. What has he done? Just, hops over that curb. That was like Lance Stroll. That was like Lance Stroll with, there's been an incident. It's Stroll, what has happened? And then it was nothing at all, wasn't it? But there we go. Yeah, say Yuki again, making another move happen. We'll just try and manage the tyres then over the next few. But yeah, if we can get that gap to obviously Hulkenberg down. Hulkenberg is less than a pit stop away from Lewis here. And we are still going quicker than Nico. Just make sure we've still got a tiny bit of battery still at our disposal. But I think, yeah, when Hamilton pits, we might have the undercut on him here. We have got to nurse those tyres in the second half of the race, but of course, if we get a safety car or anything like that, you know, it might make all the difference anyway. There's 20.6 now, that gap. Hulkenberg's actually going quicker than Lewis as well. So this is looking really, really good at this stage of the day. And this is kind of why I love Monaco on the F1 Manager games, because it is a very, very different experience. You know, there is, you know, you kind of understand and appreciate what makes Monaco still so special. Especially, you know, when you get those strategies to work for you and things like that as well. As Hamilton's still not opting to box. So that gap now is under 20 seconds in this race. I mean, we can't be far away before he decides to pit in. Hulkenberg, I think he's on hards as well, isn't he? So, going to be a couple more laps before he decides to box. But, yeah, it is just the fuel as well that we've got to be a bit careful of later on in the race. But I think at the moment we're looking really, really good around this circuit. So, I mean, Yuki's just monitoring the pace. Gasly's got mechanical issues. Let's just try and push through the deploy. I don't want to go a lap down to Lando too quickly. We want to try and keep Lando Norris a bit at bay here, to be honest, just because, you know, it will cost you time if you just don't go for it. So there we go. Battery now empty. So, come on. We need Lando Norris to dive into the pit lane pretty soon. Or I think, yeah, annoyingly, we're going to have to let him by. So that gap now just going back up to about 21 seconds here. Come on, Yuki. Get on with it. Get a bit closer to Nico Hulkenberg here. That's going to be the other critical thing. As where is Lando? He's still... Oh, yeah, he's right there now. I think Yuki's going to let him by. Damn it, man. That is annoying. That is a bit annoying early on there. And you can see we lose a good couple of seconds from that. So, Hamilton again, though, not opting to take that opportunity to try and get into the pit lane here. So it's very, very odd what the AI are trying to go for. And also, yeah, the tyres, they're wearing out pretty quickly as well. And annoyingly, we're not saving that much fuel either, which might be a little bit of a problem. There we go. Leclerc and Verstappen finally in. So that might cost them a little bit more. So are we going to see Lewis into the pit lane then pretty soon? The gap now 21 seconds. And their team are now already getting a little bit worried about the fuel. So Hamilton in. Here we go. This is the critical one. Lewis Hamilton into the pit lane then. Hulkenberg just slowing down a little bit as he's been held up behind trying to let Lando Norris by. But will we get ahead of him? I don't think we are. I think we're going to be miles behind, actually. As Tsunoda out of the final corner. Where is Lewis Hamilton going to be then? He's going to be around Lando Norris as well. So he might have to let the McLaren by as we make our way out to turn 1. Hulkenberg there is going to take the opportunity. So we are right behind Lewis Hamilton then in this Grand Prix. And like we said, this is critical right now that we try and get the move on the Mercedes. Obviously, he's going to have to try and get his tyres up to temperature. So we're going to have to go full out attack mode on this outlap and just pray that we can do absolutely anything against the Merc there. He's still going to have, obviously, that DRS off of Hulkenberg in front. But we just need to try and look for something there. Are we going to be able to get a run down in towards the chicane? Not quite there. Just practically pushing Lewis along into that corner. And I think that might be one of our best opportunities gone in this race. We need Hulkenberg ideally to pit in pretty soon, actually. Otherwise, he is just causing a little bit of a train. But again, you can just see they're not able to make the move happen at the final corner. And we've got more lap traffic. Damn it, man. Can we stick with him? Can we try and stick with him there? Just to see if we can get the move done? Hamilton there. Is he going to look for a move on Hulk? He's not able to make it happen just yet. So hopefully he's going to have to let the Ferrari car by as well. But yeah, this is really, really tricky at this stage of the day. So maybe if we can go full deploy. Oh, Hamilton, he lets him by really strategic there. He did make sure that he let that Ferrari car by at the perfect point for him, as we're all going to get a little bit held up. Hamilton down the inside of Hulkenberg. Is he going to be able to make the move happen on the exit in towards the back? No, he's not. And again, I mean, this is just giving me vibes of 2010 when there was those, I think it was 2010, wasn't it? We had 3 cars, it might be 2011. We had 3 cars late on in the day, closing in on 3 cars they were all trying to lap. And it got really, really tricky there as Hulkenberg still refusing to dive into the pit lane here. Ricciardo now is not that far behind. And you tell you what, Miata, he's a pit stop further back, so he could afford to box again here if we can't really do a lot. As Hamilton again tries to have a look for a move. He's still not able to do anything, though, at this stage of the day. So it could be worth us boxing in the next few laps. Maybe try and undercut again. As I mean, yeah, Miata's in a pretty safe P14 right now. So we could easily get out ahead of him. Ready for the second half of this race. And I guess that helps as well if we end up with a safety car or something like that. But just now starting to think about Yuki's long-term race as well. Obviously with the fuel saving. So there we go. Hulkenberg's still out. How far does Hulkenberg want to take these tyres in this race? As Ricciardo now has caught back up to the bunch of us. There we go. Hamilton's through. So we need to try and make that move happen now with Yuki. I mean, it could be that, say, Oscar Piastri with mechanical issues as well is in trouble here. But, I mean, we should hopefully be able to save the fuel. It is just going to be about trying to keep Ricciardo at bay. There we go, George Russell into the pit lane. So I kind of forgot about Russell then in this race as well. So are we going to be able to get a run out of the final corner? Try and go full attack mode on those tyres. Russell, I think, is still going to be ahead of Lewis then. So no chance of that here at this stage, but we need to get a run up the hill then, and that's exactly what we're going to try and do on Hulkenberg here. For some reason, turn 2 seems to be the place you can make overtakes, but apparently not this time round. Come on, Yuki. You've got to try and find a way past him as more lap traffic as well. Letting him by, and again, we just can't capitalise. We just cannot capitalise at the moment on Nico Hulkenberg's struggles here, as again trying to get a run. Russell now reporting mechanical faults. What's up with the Merc? Okay, so yeah, he's struggling a little bit at this stage of the day. But yeah, we just need Hulkenberg in as soon as possible now, because we're just losing so much time stuck up behind him. There's not really a lot I can do at this stage of the day. I mean, we may as well just try and go full battery saving, everything like that. And obviously until he dives in, we'll try and save some fuel as well. We could still really do with a safety car, actually, at some point during this Grand Prix, just to save that extra bit of fuel that we really need to here. There's Piastri now to the front of the field then, so not looking bad for the McLaren man. But yeah, I mean, Ricciardo just watching still as Tsunoda saves fuel. Tucked up behind Hulkenberg. Come on, man. How is he still not able to get through? As Hulkenberg there still refusing to pit in this race. And now we've got even more lap traffic trying to make its way through. So I think we've lost out a little bit more there as well. Hulkenberg just will not pit in this Grand Prix. As finally, Hulkenberg decides to dive it in. So now we've just got to try and sit a little bit more neutral. We've got to defend from Ricciardo as well where needed. But now we're basically just waiting to see whether we get any reliability problems for cars further up the road. I mean, Hulkenberg has come back out there in P13, so he's looking pretty good. But you can already see Russell. Yeah, Russell's doing pretty well in terms of tyre wear. Lawson wants in, so we'll box him onto a fresh set of the mediums. But we'll do that next lap then, as he is still down in P20 at this stage of the day. But yeah, now we're basically waiting to see if we get a safety car or something like that. Because that's kind of where we're at this stage of the race. Safety car or Oscar Piastri mechanical issues. Those are kind of the two we're hoping for at this stage. As Yuki's still, trying to save some fuel at this stage. I mean, we've got 30 laps to go then. We've got 55% left on the tyres. Oh, it's Ricciardo pits. Why is Ricciardo pit again then? Where is he going to re-emerge in this race? If he's ahead of Hulkenberg, that's not too bad. No, he's not. Hulkenberg's actually got a big jump on him. So, yeah, Ricciardo opting for a two-stop strategy then. That works out pretty well, actually, for me. Because it just puts us under a bit less pressure. And obviously, it means we can save these fuel and tyres a little bit more. But yeah, Hulkenberg is still gaining into the second half of this race there. So hopefully we're going to be able to do to Hulkenberg what he was able to do to us early on in the race. As Lawson, has re-emerged down in last place then. But yeah, really now, we are just kind of sat there, aren't we? We're not closing in on Russell despite his mechanical issues. As there we go. Those mechanical faults are getting worse, though, for George. Could we still, potentially...
Can we check the bump shifts?
I mean, you don't want issues like that with a car around Monaco. You've got to be really, really careful with it around this place. But yeah, we are slowly bringing the fuel back. How is Lawson? Lawson's not gained any fuel back either today, so... yeah, he's really, really cooked it as well. As there we go, Piastri will lose the place to his teammate. Hulkenberg now closing in on ourselves. But we've still got 4 kilos of fuel we need to save before this race is down and out. So this might be a really difficult effort, actually, to try and keep Hulkenberg at bay there. 43% now left on the tyres with 20 laps to go. I mean, we kind of just want to try and gamble it, don't we? We may as well roll the dice. We're not going to score points if we don't. But we will go defensive driving as well on Hulkenberg here, which sometimes can be a bit of a bad thing, actually, inside this game. So there we go. Just get a little bit of breathing room once again. But immediately, we are going to lose that as well. There is Ricciardo now. Gets the jump on Hulkenberg, and he gets the jump on us as well. How has Ricciardo done that? He's on a fresh set of hearts. I think he's just going to get a DRS run, isn't he, out of that final corner. Look at the straight line speed that V-Carb has got down the outside, right up against the wall. But yeah, Ricciardo makes light work of that one. And I think it might be worth us boxing again. I mean, we've got such a gap over Albon behind. We could easily take a fresh set of soft compound tyres to the end of the race. And we'd only lose the 1 place to Hulk as well then. So we're going to dive it in with Yuki here at this stage of the day. Just make sure, obviously, that we can get to the end pretty safely. There's, more mechanical issues then for... oh, there we go. Piastri's out. Oscar Piastri's out of the Grand Prix. I don't think we're going to look at it, annoyingly. We just get to watch our own car. But that is annoying, because that's going to promote Ricciardo back inside the top 10 then of this race late on. And I mean, really for us now, it is just about trying to save that fuel and praying that we can take 20 seconds out of him before the end of this race. I mean, we've got to be going over a second a lap faster still towards the end of this one. So we can afford to go a little bit more aggressive. But obviously we're still trying to save fuel right towards the end of this race. So it's going to be really, really difficult. It might be that late on we try and get the run on him. But admittedly, we're not even taking much time out of Hulkenberg at the moment. So this is really, really difficult late on in the day. I mean, Ricciardo has got problems. But ultimately, I just don't think we're quick enough at this stage of the afternoon. Gap down to 13. I tell you what, it's going to be close. As long as we've saved all the fuel, I think we should be able to try and do something with it. There is more mechanical faults being reported by other drivers. We have now pretty much caught up to Hulkenberg as well then. So hopefully we're going to be able to try and make the move on Hulkenberg pretty quick. And I tell you what, he's taking time out Ricciardo. This race might not be over towards the end. It is now just a case of how quickly we can get around Hulkenberg in this race, as we've cooked this set of tyres again, haven't we? So let's wait and see. Down in towards the final couple of corners. Full deploy. Full aggression on the overtake. We don't need to defend. We've just got to try and get the run on Hulkenberg. And if we can do that now, on soft compound tyres, on overtake mode. We're not using rich revs, though. But hopefully we're going to be able to try and have a look down the inside. Not able to there. We'll have to go on the revs again. We just need to try and make this happen. Because if we can get Ricciardo, if he's a bit of a sitting duck here late on, then this could be an absolute game changer late on in the day for us. Tsunoda still not able to find a way around Hulkenberg, though. And we are running out of fuel. We are running out of opportunities here late on in the day. He's going to have one more chance back down towards turn 1. And then otherwise, I think we're just going to have to try and accept defeat late on. Come on, out of that final corner. He is so close this time round to the hole. He's going to try and have a look to the outside. As a look for it, round the outside down at turn 1. And through we will go. And up then into P11 of this race once more. We've got very little in the way of tyres. We've got very little in the way of fuel. In fact, we're still going to have to try and save fuel towards the end of this one. But Ricciardo with those gremlins, surely we're going to be able to try and close in this gap still. And it might be that we get like a 2-lap window right at the end of this race. And Lando Norris is still trying to cover off from Carlos Sainz here towards the end. But for us, I mean, yeah, for us really now, it is just like trying to get in that range of Ricciardo. We know it will probably take us 2 laps to gear up and go for it. But we are still just that little bit quicker at the moment. We've got very little, though, in the way of anything left in this car. But we've got to try and get in the range. We've got to still try and save up this fuel late on. I mean, we need to make sure, first and foremost, that we get the car to the flag. But ultimately, you know, now we've got that point on the board, countback is a little less relevant. It is more just about trying to take points wherever we possibly can late on in this Grand Prix. And that gap to Ricciardo is just not coming down at the moment. 3.5 seconds still to the Australian. We've got to pray for like a lapped car or something, but there is no traffic in the way late on in the day. 3 laps to go of the Monaco Grand Prix. I mean, we're still a kilo under fuel. There's no guarantee we even get to the checkered flag still of this race, but we're going to go full attack. We've just got to try and throw everything at this towards the end of the race. Maybe Ricciardo or Russell will have a mechanical failure right towards the end. Maybe just something, anything can happen here that will provide us with a chance. 2.7 seconds, 2.6 seconds. We've seen how the gaps can ebb and flow still inside this game. But ultimately, yeah, I'm worried. I don't think we're going to save the fuel. I think we might have just gambled a bit too much with the fuel towards the end of this one. And we might be in real trouble here. As the gap now under 2.5. As we make our way out of that final corner once again. Tyre wear warning for Liam Lawson as well, who's had just an absolute stinker of an afternoon. But 3 laps to go of the Monaco Grand Prix. We are not saving that fuel. We are not saving that fuel right now. I mean, maybe, just maybe, because like we're laps down, it'll help. But I don't think this game simulates that. As in towards the final couple of laps we're going to go then of the Monaco Grand Prix. I think, yeah, we've just got to try and go full harvest, full save, everything like that. Maybe it'll help Yuki a little bit more with that as well. But we're going to come so agonizingly close to points here. But ultimately, I don't think it's going to be enough come the end of the Monaco Grand Prix there. That gap now just starting to open up once again. As 0.7 now, we have got the fuel. I mean, you can't do anything, can you? You can't lift and coast. You can't do anything with him. Can I tell him to lift and coast? Is there the option? No, there's no option for more lift and coast, is there? Right towards the end of the race, we're going to see Lando Norris starting the last lap then of the Grand Prix. We are still 0.7 kilos down on fuel. I mean, how many cars are 1 lap down or 2 laps down? However many laps down we are. There are. So the worst we're going to finish is P14 anyway. So I guess that's not the end of the world, but still gutting when you consider how hard we've pushed today. Ricciardo reporting mechanical issues still. I mean, it's been a typical Monaco Grand Prix. I'm staggered. Only 1 car found himself in the wall, though, when all is said and done. But Yuki Tsunoda starting the last lap of this Grand Prix. We are still 0.6 kilos under. I think we're in real trouble. I think we're going to run out of fuel on this very last lap there. And you can just see, I mean, he is limping around. He is trying to do everything he possibly can. I mean, we may as well go full deploy now. Try and use that battery to springboard him off of the corners. But Lando Norris through the final corner. He started from pole. He has not led throughout the entirety of the race. He has been under so much pressure. He is going to be your Monaco Grand Prix winner. And McLaren are going to open up their Constructors' Championship lead there after a fantastic race. Let's take a look at the replay on that one. What a race that is by Lando Norris there. Well-deserved a first Monaco Grand Prix victory. But for Yuki Tsunoda, is he actually going to make it? I mean, he's running really low on the fuel now, but he might just have enough to get round because obviously we're laps down come the end of this race there. Maybe we didn't have to worry about the fuel when all is said and done. Out of the final corner, up towards the line. Tsunoda, it is agonizingly close, but it is only good enough for P11 in the end. That is heartbreaking there. As Lawson, for some reason, yeah, he's still just in a bit of no man's land. So, yeah, disappointing day for him, but once again, agonizingly close to the points.
Yuki Tsunoda makes his way back after the events of that race.
Yeah, they crossed the line P11, sadly just missing out on the points.
And after such a fabulous drive here today, it's no surprise to see this man land on the podium.
That takes them up to 3 wins this season. They proved just so hard to beat.
Always a special occasion here in the incomparable Monte Carlo. They'll be pushing the boat out here tonight, no doubt. Well, Karun, how do you think they'll be feeling in the team garage at the end of that?
It was a strangely mixed weekend for them. We saw one driver put in a strong performance, but it was a different story for the other. Definitely positives there though.
And thank you everyone for joining us this weekend here in Monaco.
For the next round, the teams are travelling to the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for the Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal.
Well, there we are then. Lando Norris takes the win here in Monte Carlo by just 0.2 of a second. Come the checkered flag over Carlos Sainz. Ferrari do get a double podium. Charles Leclerc, actually, Ferrari did a good strategy with him to get him back up the order there. But annoyingly for us, another point lost to VCarb. It is going to be super tight with them throughout this championship. So we need to be making sure that we are taking points out of them wherever we possibly can. Championship-wise, for the first time this season, Max Verstappen now not leading the way. Lando Norris with a 6-point gap over the Dutchman as well there. And Charles Leclerc, that consistency still paying dividends for him and Ferrari there. Annoyingly for Oscar Piastri, he's now tied with Perez a little bit further back. And yeah, Ricciardo again, like we said, with that extra point for VCarb there, just opens up the gap between us and them. Red Bull, 6 points now behind McLaren as well. So yeah, they didn't actually do a particularly great job of opening up that race lead. Of course, obviously, yeah, because Oscar Piastri failed to see the checkered flag. And I mean, yeah, Ferrari, they were the biggest scorers this weekend. They are not that far away. We could have quite a good three-way scrap over the course of the season as well. Their teams-wise, I don't think we picked up any points this weekend. No, Tsunoda did get 1 point for the fastest pit stop award there. And VCarb now 1 point ahead of McLaren there as well. So good fights going on in all of the championships as well. A 6.7 second stop for Lawson. I didn't even realise how bad that was for him. But yeah, a bit disappointing when all is said and done. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns in Montreal ready for the Canadian Grand Prix.